Hi, I'm here to talk to you today about Marie de France's short story written in a poem form called Yonec. Yonec is from a collection called Lays. A lay is simply a song or a story that is told to music. It was popular in northern France. Now, I want to talk to you about Yonec specifically. In a nutshell, it's a story about a young girl who's been forced into marriage with this older man. He keeps her locked away in a tower. She's lonely. She prays for a prince knight to come and save her because she's heard the lore in this part of the land that God can answer prayers and send a supernatural lover. So essentially the supernatural lover comes to her in the form of a hawk, and he is her hawk knight. The two conceive a son. The old man becomes suspicious, and the old man and his sister essentially end up catching the two. The hawk knight returns to his land. He's mortally wounded. She follows after him, and he encourages her to return to the old man. He gives her 3 magical items, a sword, a ring, and a robe. And she returns with those things, and years later, when her son is grown, the old man and she and the son return to the land where this hawk knight came from, and essentially the son avenges his father's death and avenges the loneliness of his mother and her subsequent death at the end, actually, by killing the old man. That's the story in a nutshell. There are a couple of issues that I'd like to discuss about Lays, about Yonec found in Lays. First and foremost, I want to talk about the themes of medieval literature. If you're in my literature class, my daytime class, you know that there are 6 themes found in medieval literature. Those themes are warfare, honor, battle of the sexes, morality, the afterlife, that is heaven and hell, and courtly and idealized love. Now, this story embodies about 4 of these concepts, the themes. We see honor in that the son, Yonec, avenges the death of his father and his mother. We see the battle of the sexes play out. We see that the old man has power over the woman, now over the young girl. This was an arranged medieval marriage, and you've got to remember that marriage for women in the medieval time was harsh. It was an unpleasant reality. In fact, I have a quote here somewhere if I can find it. It's by an author by the name of McCarthy. He's commenting on Yonec, and he says, "The unpleasantness of a real marriage is shows up and is remedied by a supernatural romance." He goes on to say, and he says that this story actually offers an escape from the harsh realities of a medieval marriage. And you'll find that Marie de France's stories all include elements of the supernatural. They all include an element of supernatural love. Marie de France herself says of her stories regarding love, she says that there's a passionate excess or loss of restraint in her stories, and it's characteristic of genuine love. And I think that's what she's trying to get at in Lays, that the genuine love is the love between the young woman and the hawk knight. Now, I want to talk about one point in this text that's a little bit confusing. It's on page, if you're in my literature class, it's on page 1344. But essentially, when the knight first comes to her, she questions him, and she says that she would take him as her lover if he believed in God, and if their love was really possible. For he was of great beauty. Never in her life had she seen so handsome a knight, nor would she ever. "My lady," he said, "you are right. I wouldn't want you to feel guilt because of me, or doubt, or suspicion." Now, this is a little strange. This hawk comes into her window, transforms into this beautiful knight, and she says that if he believed in God. The idea behind this is that in the medieval times, they believed essentially that the birds of the air were either of demonic origin or of angelic origin. And she didn't know, this hawk knight who came to her, was he of the devil or was he of God? And she said that if he would take communion, then of course it would prove that he was of God. And so he does take communion, and after that they lay together. Soon thereafter they conceive a son. That's essentially Marie de France's Lays in a nutshell. Thank you for listening.